Does anyone have a question? In many ways, silence is a good answer to my question. Does anyone have a question? Because this level of silence emanates from a place deep inside each and every one of us. And it's an important place to connect with, a place that really enables us to transcend all the noise that's in our heads, emotions, all the racket that goes on in the world, the objective world, to an inner place of calm. I mean, when people die, they always say RIP, rest in peace. It should be when people live, they should say LIP, live in peace. Because if somebody lives in peace, they're definitely going to rest in peace. But to find people that live in peace, that have a quiet mind open, that receive knowledge, wisdom, I mean, this is very rare. And I think all of that knowledge, please, Yana, try and sit up and do the meditation while I talk. If you're moving, it really disrupts the class. Um, the silence that we experience, that's where all the knowledge resides, all the wisdom resides, right at the center, at the core of the universe. And it usually manifests as the Om sound, that sound in silence, that brings with it knowledge and wisdom, that brings with it the ability to distinguish between what's real in life and what's an illusion. The ability to just live every day at peace with oneself. That in itself is such an extraordinary accomplishment that it opens a door that really leads to spiritual enlightenment. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask?
I have a question, Serge.
Yes.
Well, I have a problem actually, which is uh, to set boundaries. And as I'm learning this practice and reminding myself of these things that we are learning here, I get in situation with people who are kind of going in a different direction with bitterness and etc. And I find it difficult to like. I don't want to preach, but I don't want to go on the rafts
Well,
to hell.
Skender, what you have to do, Skender, is look, everybody is like that. There's nobody in your life that is going to be doing what you think they're supposed to be doing. And everybody really lives that way. Now, what they're telling you is you, Skender, have to get stronger in yourself. You, Skender, have to build a deeper inner life that you can relate to these people unconditionally. You can let them be as they are, and they don't bother you because they go in a different. Please listen, everybody. You have to sit still. I mean, if you're moving, just turn your camera off and leave the class. Anna, you have to sit still. I know you're all sitting in your living rooms, in your bedrooms, wherever your offices. And every time you move and fidget, it disrupts the entire class. And I hate to keep repeating this, but I do all the time. But it finally has to sink in. Each person that's here is responsible for the discipline, for the quiet, for sitting quietly, for opening, for not moving, because that benefits the entire class. And if people are fidgeting and looking around and moving and playing with their hair and doing this and that, it disrupts the whole energy. And I know you don't see each other, but I see all of you. You're all right in front of me. And if somebody is fidgeting and scratching, it really disrupts the energy. So please, for another 10 minutes, 5 minutes, try and sit still. Do me a favor. And the class will go that much deeper. I won't have to give a talk like this. I could be talking about what I was talking about to Skender. Anyway, where was I, Skender? I don't.
Uh, One time you said that the people around you, your family or something, they know what you're about, something in that manner. And that's kind of stuck with me. Like,
No, my family, Skender, has never known what I'm. They still to today don't know what I do. And they think I'm a little nuts. They really do. I don't fit into the mold. I don't follow the dictums that they follow. I don't live the way they live. And I'm sure when they talk about me, it's like, who is this guy? But at the same point, I can talk to each and every one of them. I can deal with each and every one of them because none of them, every single one of them has reminded me that in order to deal with them, I'm not going to change them, but I have to get strong enough not to be bothered by the things they do, to love them anyway, not because they fit into the pattern of the way I think they're supposed to live. Nobody's going to fit into that. But they, whatever their lives are, respect their lives, love them for who they are, be strong enough in yourself not to allow the way other people live interfere with your daily existence. When you build that kind of strength, you have taken a major step towards spiritual enlightenment
hmm, yeah,
because none of us are going to change the world. You understand? I can't change the way anybody here lives. All I can do is transmit Shakti. And hopefully that Shakti will enter the chakra system of each person sitting here and enable them to find the deepest creative life that they can live. And that's not a life I can determine for anybody, and I won't ever do it. But I can respect people who do that and really open and spend time with them.
hmm,
So it's up to me to get stronger. It's up to me to get more connected with higher energy. It's up to me to build a chakra system that enables me to do that. And then when you do that, you have no need to, the world is God's world, and everything that's been created in God's world is there to teach us about ourselves if we want to listen and learn. And if we to listen and learn, you got to build a system inside that enables you to do it. And then somebody lives different. You say thank you to them. They no longer upset you. They have taught you how to get stronger in yourself so that you too can spend time with them and, you know,
hmm,
and not have to dictate the way they are supposed to live their lives. Nobody's going to do it. But we can do that. We can build that kind of inner strength that allows us the capacity to really embrace people. Let people be our teacher. They don't have to live the way we think they're supposed to live. Now, this takes an extraordinary person. And hopefully through this meditation class, you will build inside yourself an extraordinary person who can do what I'm talking about. Not some dictator who's telling the whole world how to live and what they should read and study. And, you understand, not some political madman who wants to control everything. And if somebody goes against them, they wind up, God knows what happens.
mm,
But hey, this is life, it's God's world. What is it teaching me?
mm,
Now, it doesn't mean you have to hang out with these people all the time, but when you're with them, you're not imperious to them. You're not more important in your brain than they are. And they have something to teach you.
mm. The main obstacle is that we work here with what we work with, compassionate patience, letting people be what they are, and letting the world be. And not, out there's a lot of the opposite sort of. So the energy is trying to change you, want you to be, are you this, are you left or conservative?
Well, that's your test, Skender. That's your test.
I can, yeah. And you just
And you know how I dealt with that test. All right, Stuart, you're not going to live the way these people want you to live. You have to get stronger in yourself. Build a system inside that enables you to be able to deal with that kind of energy without allowing it to throw you off balance.
off balance. Yeah. Mm,
That's the work. That's the work of this kind of meditation is to build that kind of human being.
mm,
Because, look, I was talking to my banker today, and he said something. I said, he said to me, the world has been crazy since the beginning of time. The banker told me this, and it affects how money is, invested in this and that. And I said to him, I have a book I've written. I want you to read it. I told him, it's all about what you just said. And he opened up, he smiled, and he said, okay, I'll be more than happy to read it. But my banker told me this morning, and I say it all the time. Since Adam and Eve left the Garden of Eden, the world has been an insane asylum.
mm, mm,
Everybody is trying to get to the Messiah. Understand? And they don't realize the Messiah is a living principle that exists inside each and every one of us. To me, if there's any, metaphor for the resurrection of Christ, for the Jewish people finding the Holy Land, finding, you know, uh, it's inside each and every one of us. We have to resurrect ourselves. We have to transcend the madness in the world, transcend the madness inside ourselves, not allow it to deter us from doing deep inner work that enables us to connect with a higher force in the universe. And I always, I've said it a lot, spiritual energy is neither right or wrong or positive or negative. It's pure energy. It is pure energy. And when it comes into a human being, because of how they think and it becomes what they transform it into, their conception of what the world is. It comes in a pure state to nurture each and every one of us, to help us build an inner life that is strong enough to connect with that kind of purity. But we allow it to get into our heads, our emotions, what we think is right or wrong, the good, the bad, the indifferent, the ugly. You understand? And then that's what we project on the world.
mm,
So it's a human being's job to transform themselves, to build a system that allows that energy to flow through and come in a loving way, in a nurturing way, with compassion, with joy, with love, kindness, forgiveness into the world. That is the work of meditation, to make us build a system inside that enables us to do this. And then it doesn't matter who you're dealing with. To me, it's an extraordinary work that we can transform. We have to transform ourselves. And that energy of God, that spirit, that Shakti that flows, it's an energy that helps us transform ourselves into a person that can be a vehicle for that energy and use it in the world.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hallelujah.
Does anyone else have a question they would like? Okay, if there are no more questions, then
I have a short kind of follow-up question. I'm wondering, are you throughout your day constantly channeling or allowing spirit to come through? Is it like for you in your during your day? Or
yes, of course I do that, but I'm not perfect. And yeah, I can get a little upset sometimes, but it doesn't last very long.
Hmm.
You know, I can change all those things very quickly, but I'm not Mr. Perfect, walking around doing everything perfectly. You know, I'm still growing in my life and working on myself to grow.
Hmm.
So yeah, I have my moments, not as many as I used to have, 10 years ago when I really had moments. They would last for weeks. Now they last for seconds.
Hmm. But I'm like this with your talk. Is it like yes, you have your moments, but but throughout your even like in simple situations, like in just breakfast and something. I mean, I'm picturing that when we're kind of in a at work doing something which is a bit high pressure, that's when I experience that something higher than me comes through me the most, sort of. But in mundane situations,
Skanda, there's no more high pressure in life than really dealing with yourself. That's the highest of all pressure. Dealing with your own stuff, transforming it, turning you into a human being. That's what I'm trying to do here, Skender, turn you into a human being.
yeah, I-
There's a lot of pressure in that, and a lot of resistance, but we'll get there.
yes, sir.
Given enough time and work, we'll get there.
Hmm. I believe. I'm
I
curious.
believe it too. So I wouldn't let you come back to my classes 3 times if I didn't believe it.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, there'll be meditation on Thursday, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. God bless you. Have a wonderful day or evening or wherever you are in the world. And I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. Thank you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you, Stuart.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you, Stuart.
Bye.